Hi there. I'm making this short video just to show you my process of how I create my online video lecture. You don't have to follow this exact same process, but it might give you some ideas to how you can make your own videos. So I always start actually with my PowerPoint, essentially. That's kind of how I build my outline because I'm very visual. So I go into PowerPoint and I make essentially a slide for each of my main points, and I slowly flesh out what that outline would then look like. So this becomes what could be roughed out just in a bulleted list. It becomes a visual outline for myself. That's step one. All right, then step two. What I do is in terms of sort of scripting and practicing, I don't always know how it's going to turn out. So usually what I'll try first is I'll kind of review the content a little bit and I'll go ahead and just try recording what I have. So I either open up Zoom session and record via Zoom, or I'll use Screencast-O-Matic, or in this case more often I use Camtasia, which is something that I have now that costs money, but any of those methods would work. I pretty much deliver this PowerPoint as if I were in class. So I'll switch to presentation mode and I'll record myself as I walk through it. So, I'll just talk through it as if I were just recording a regular video. Because I often do some editing later, I don't worry too much about making mistakes. If you know you want to do a one and done, you definitely want to do maybe a little more rehearsal. I also acknowledge that this first one I record might get completely scrapped. That is a very strong possibility. But it's kind of my best way of just getting it out there, finding out what my timing is, and if it worked really well the first time, excellent, I'll use that and I'll move on. But more than likely it didn't work great and it's time for me to try it again. But now I know how it's going to go. And what I often do with with that first draft is I'll still put it into YouTube, because then I want to get a transcript. So I get the auto transcript and that's what I'll end up fine tuning. So what it ends up looking like is something like this. All right, so I copy and pasted the content that I'd had in that transcript I got from YouTube. It's not going to be capitalized or with any punctuation in the initial part. It's just what they heard me say. It does a lot of the right words. I just have to kind of go in and do some punctuation and everything. And I kind of go through, and from here I do my fine tuning. So usually this is where I realize what are the parts that I need to cut or simplify. I go back and I keep tweaking this information until I get it to the point that I want it to be. Now, the bonus of this is now this becomes my script for take two, right? So I'm going to re-record myself knowing that this is now the content so I can deliver it more effectively. What's also great is this document I also post to Canvas. That way students who want to be able to not just watch it, but either follow along or skip watching it and just read it, have this as an option. They can see what the slide was that I was talking about and what I talked about during that slide. So this becomes my transcript. I keep the slides with it since I'm talking about what's on the screen when that happens, and students can use it and I can use it when I re-record. So I go back to this presentation and I re-record myself delivering it, this time with that more fine-tuned delivery. Then that presentation, that final video, is what I'll upload to YouTube or Ensemble depending on what I use. Again, I'll delete the old one because it was really just so that I could get the transcript. I wanted to practice, but that's the one that the finalized one is the one that I can put in the class. So I basically start with an outline via PowerPoint, and then I create a script after my first recorded attempt so that way I have some content. I want it to sound natural to talking. Sometimes if you write the script first, you write differently than you talk most of the time, so it doesn't quite fit. So I like being able to just talk it all out, use that as my script, fine tune it, usually shorten it because a lot of times I tend to ramble. So I shorten it, and then that's what I will then re-record for the final copy, and I can share the transcript with students. It's great for Universal Design for Learning. It's great for a study tool that students can have that access. And that's how I create my video lectures for my online class.